I think I developed my interest in the arts. It's just part of me. It's how I was raised. Both of my parents emigrated from Europe during Nazi Germany, and both had interests in music. I grew up listening to classical music, hating it at first because my parents would drag me. They would drag me to the Greeley Philharmonic, and my sisters and I would just sit there and go, we hate this. But then after a while, it just kind of grew into something that became part of my life, and I still love rock and roll and jazz and other forms. I'd always wanted to write a book and tell the story of my family, and I tried years ago, back when I was running Doug's practice, because I felt stifled doing that. I had practiced law for almost 5 years in Denver, litigation, and didn't like that lifestyle. And plus, being married to an oncologist, and you come home and you're a lawyer, and it's like, well, my day was tense, whose day was more tense? And so it was kind of good to get away from that and just be a mom. And I worked at home. I ran his practice from home so I could make hot chocolate on demand for the kids. I was working with a friend for cattle barons and the cattle barons ball, and she said, you've always said you wanted to write a book. I have a great seed of a story. So we went out for lunch and she told me the story, and I was like, oh wow, this is fantastic. And so from there I realized you can take a seed and if you're receptive to the world and people around you, you just absorb information. And I'm always reading and studying people. And I had been on the board of the Greeley Philharmonic before, like in the 90s. I came back on thanks to Jean Morrell, because she asked me to chair some sort of form of celebration for the orchestra's 100th anniversary. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, that would be fun. And we ended up having about 8 different projects involved, and one of them was the book, which was the history of the Greeley Philharmonic Orchestra. So it was a wonderful collaborative process, and working with people writing, I learned a lot. I also edited the entire thing, so I learned that process, and I learned I learned about publication and what you go through. When that book won an award in New York, my husband said, we should just publish your book. And because a lot of people are independently publishing these days, huge numbers. And so we did. And it kind of all developed from there. And then I thought, as a marketing tool, I should start my blog, Feeding the Famished, because you have to have multiple layers as a writer. Well, as any business person, writing is a business. The first book was a success. It won an award on a national level. The second one, Drinking the Knockwater, it's called actually Drinking the Knockwater, a New Age pilgrimage, because for me it really was a pilgrimage of self-discovery, of standing up for myself. Knockwater was cathartic for me. When you're writing, you're opening your head up to the world and letting people know what's going on in there, which is sort of frightening. I'm really looking forward, as I'm starting to work on my 3rd novel, I'm really looking forward to seeing where it's going to go, because I feel released. I really feel much freer lately, a lot happier, and especially because Knockwater has been so well received. It was a scary book to put out there, and people are loving it. This is a tough story. You like my writing, yay. I'm okay. Now let me tell you another story. And that's where I am with my life, and I love it. I'm really pleased to be back involved with the Greeley Philharmonic again. Just was elected president of the board for a second time. The Greeley Philharmonic is so important to me. Classical music, listened live with a bunch of other people. It's invigorating. The arts are a very important part of life generally. It helps us think. Arts are a thinking mechanism that help us, we humans, reach down deeper, and it helps us see who we are. And I think it helps us become better people in the long run.